Erased. Hey ya howdy, Ashton here, servicing animation information, and today we'll be reviewing the anime Erased. Erased was originally written and illustrated by Kei Sanbei in 2012 as a manga. In 2018, it got its own adaptation into an anime produced and animated by A1 Pictures. The story follows a 29-year-old manga artist, Satoru Fujinami, who dies and undergoes this process he calls revival. Unlike most isekais, he actually dies and gets sent back to a former past timeline of himself, where he goes around trying to solve these murders and kidnappings that happens throughout his childhood. Apparently the world is the same as the one that he died in previously. Just that timeline just really makes it a bit tricky, just because he uses revival in different instances as well.
Satoru's
ultimate goal again is to stop these kidnappings and murders as he lives out his childhood and reviving himself in certain instances that he does deem necessary. How he does it, beyond me, but he does a good job of just making sure the story is knit tight and that everything is concise with well-written textures and tones that come along with it. Now, the psychological event affairs that happens after that is just more of the fear, the psyche part of it. The psyche, the little somber moments from everyone being inside of a school bus to Gaku opening the door and scaring the bejesus out of Satoru and Kaio. One of the other best parts about this show is the dynamic between Satoru, Kaio, and Gaku. This dynamic is really setting the tone between this cat and mouse game, this gray somber feeling, this always looking and seeing if someone's going to be behind your shoulder from one minute to another. It does present an older animation style that just does a good job of capturing this gray somber tone that comes to it. The development that comes throughout the story is represented through not only the animation but through the characters themselves. Between Gaku having this always mental breakdown, you just feels like every minute you see him is just kind of shaking in your boots a little bit, versus Satoru, who is constantly always on the lookout, always perceptive of his surroundings, always trying to make sure that there's going to be another step in the right direction, not wanting to miscalculate the next misstep. I think the story just does a good job of just having each of these characters revolve around Satoru, developing each one of these side characters just to make him a better main character. That being said, I think the story does lack that development of Satoru. I wish I could see a little bit more come out through him, or just from him, just as you see a change of events that happen from point A to point B. It's really about what you see in him. As an introvert myself, I do like to see a lot of the transitions, a lot of the movements that come within Satoru, a lot of the tone, the personality. I can relate to that, always be there for somebody or wanting to take care of something in my hands. Not really relying on other people's strengths or weaknesses, but hopefully relying on my own, which I think is going to be a fault. The character's not bad. It's just I wish there was a little bit more from him, a bit more, I don't know, explosion in some cases. No reference. But regardless, it does a good job of just displaying this fear, these tones, this somber atmosphere. The more I see this show or type of shows like this, the more I wish shows had this meat and potato. Just the bare necessities to have a good animation, to have a good story, to have good characters, supporting characters, timeline, plots, and unlike most ikasais that are out there, just wanting to have differences within a universe. I do believe maybe the story could be a bit more developed in terms of just world building, but again, it does such a good job on just the story itself. It's not meant to be a world building story, nor is it meant to just be this grand big story. No, it's a very simple, knit tight from point A to point B. How they get to point A to point B, again, sometimes you just scratch your head. Revival, what is it? How do you get to revival? It's not necessarily explained through it, which I don't think needs to, but in some cases, in some shows, that's how you can capture more attention. People want to feel like they're a part of that series or that stuff. I personally like to involve and develop
myself in
what the character is doing or some instances that happen throughout the characters' lives. I would say it's going to be a solid 7. Now, in terms of most shows, this again just solves all the cases that needs to be done within an anime. My only recommendation to this kind of this series is just giving more to the main character rather than the supporting characters. It just feels like the supporting characters have more involvement or have more roles than the main characters. From the whole circle vibe that comes from it, flesh out more of the world, flesh out more of Gaku, flesh out more of really just Satoru, because that's who I want to be involved with the most. And in some cases, you just don't get it. Again, the story's great, everything about it great. It does a good job of just capturing what it wants you to feel, and I believe it made me feel that type of way. This is going to be our very first episode that's going to be ever displayed. I will always try to keep all of my shows that we're going to be reviewing here, and from Cisco Bang and the team of everybody at Cisco Bang, we thank you. If you have any recommendations, please do drop them down below. Drop a follow, drop a like, subscribe to see the next video. We will be trying to post at least once a week, maybe twice a week as always. Enjoy anime, sub, dub, watch it. We can rate it together. And yeah, keep watching anime. Much love from Ashton. Until next time, erased forever and always. We will see you in the next episode. Thank you for tuning into episode 1 of Cisco Bang. It is late and somehow I just woke up, but we just wanted to let you know if there's any recommendations of any anime that you could shoot our way, we'd be more than glad to watch them in our spare time. We have a list of shows that we will be putting out within the next few weeks, and I am busy watching so much shows. I've got shows such as Bocchi the Rock coming up. We are watching Angel Beats, something I need to watch. I haven't seen it. And why I haven't, but I will. Yeah, drop that subscription. And I just want to make sure that if there's any shows that you may want to recommend my way that I haven't reviewed already. Granted, I think I've seen a lot of shows in my past, and I hope to get to those as soon as possible, considering how much anime is actually out there. So again, drop any recommendations you have, send it my way. Subscribe so that you don't miss out on anything that I may have already reviewed, and see you in episode 2. Anime forever, Cisco Bang, Ashton forever. Deuces.